Hello everybody. Today I'm kind of doing an impromptu vlog because I'm on lunch break. I'm working from home, so I've now gone off to the bedroom, so I'm away from my workstation and everything, and I look a bit weird because I've got this bantam hair. I don't normally wear that, but I've just given myself a bit of a facial, although I may not look like I have. But yeah, it's a little shiny still from the, I put some Vaseline on and stuff, so I'm not all made up, and I'm quite cold somewhere in this. So I'm not actually working in my jammies. Yeah, this is, as I said, it's an impromptu vlog because I've been having a bit of a think about the whole Joe Exotic and Carole Baskin thing. Now, I saw loads and loads of memes on Facebook, Twitter, and everywhere. People saying, fuck Carole Baskin, and then pictures of Joe Exotic. I was like, what the hell is this? And then the other half and I were flicking through Netflix, and she said to me, oh, that's where all this has come from, this thing here, this Tiger King docu-series thing. And I wasn't really, to be honest, interested, because I don't really tend to follow trends or anything like that, but we watched it. And yeah, I have to say, and please let me know if I'm wrong, but I mean, we're entitled to our opinions, but please enlighten me. I don't understand why people are vilifying Carole Baskin over Joe. Why people are saying she's public enemy number one. I don't understand that at all. Now I understand that the main thing people are concerned about with Carole Baskin is the disappearance of her husband. However, my view is, I don't know either way. I'm kind of stuck in the middle. But at the same time, there's no evidence whatsoever to suggest that she had a hand in that. The whole thing about the power of attorney, that in itself isn't even circumstantial. So there's so many things people can say about it. And one thing I did observe is that they showed the comparison between her interview at the time of the disappearance and the interview 20 years later, and she gave exactly the same account. Her story hasn't changed. Now, to me, that sort of kind of leans more in her favor, but again, she's not been even arrested or charged. She hasn't been convicted, whereas Joe has been arrested, charged, and convicted for paying someone to kill her. And also, if we take the whole murder thing out of the situation, which one of them treats their animals better? Carole. I've been a huge fan of Big Cat Rescue for years. I've watched their videos, and I've seen what they do with their enrichment programs. And one thing that really stuck out to me, this is something that I've not really seen many people say, even on the Watch Mojo countdowns and things, is that Joe's employees are very hands-on with their lions, and Carole's volunteers are not. They have a strict no-touch policy, which I've seen before in their Big Cat videos, is that they always feed them, even if it's like to give them medication and a bit of meat, they always feed it with a stick through the barbed wire. They don't touch their animals. And when she's kneeling and Joseph, the king lion, is behind her, the reason he is in a cage then, this small little cage, is because I've seen how they do it on Big Cat Rescue. They have extensions to their enclosures where they have two sliding like metal doors, and what they do is they're both down, and then they put the outside one up, put the food in, close that, and then lift the inside one up so they can actually go in and eat. And the whole thing about the rabbits as well, I agree that does look weird. It looks horrific, actually. But I have seen before that they do feed their cats full prey sometimes, because that's what they would eat in the wild. They'd eat the liver and the offal, not just the meat. And so I'm baffled by what people think of that, and Carole's not putting her employers, well, her volunteers, in harm's way, yet Joe's employee had their arm ripped off, and he's breeding animals. They're breeding ligers as well. Tigers and lions don't reproduce in the wild. yes, fine, they can, like zedonks and mules and all of that, you know, they can reproduce, but their offspring, I think, if they're whichever gender it is actually infertile. But yes, fine, they need to preserve the species, but they're breeding cubs for the purposes of people petting them, and they take the cubs away from their mothers before they've even had the chance to have their first nurse. And if you take a cub or a newborn baby animal away from its mother, smother it with scents that it's not familiar, you bring that back to the mother, they'll reject it most likely. They have to stay with their mum. Even with you know, like domestic cats, my cat Sebastian, I have a sneaking suspicion that he was actually taken away from his mum early, because he's so clingy with people, and he doesn't do the normal, like, even when he had two eyes, he never did the whole blink thing. He doesn't do the whole head up thing that I've seen that Jackson Galaxy has often said is a sort of a how you doing in cat language. Check out his videos if you don't know what I mean. And he comes when I call him. Very strange. Cats don't do that, not normally anyway. He still has his, you know, cat-like instincts and everything. And he's extremely vocal, whereas cats by nature are not vocal. They've learned to vocalize over time because that's how we communicate. So they start making a lot of noise. They don't really tend to even meow at each other, not usually. But yeah, that's probably what happened to him, and then it's conditioned him to be more dependent on humans. Now, he must have been integrated with other cats, because he's friendly to other cats as well, but more so, a lot more so, than he's coming over with humans. He might end up disturbing. Do not disturb, Sebi. Come here. He wants to get in the box. There's a box in front of my phone. I'm going to pick it up now because he'll probably end up jumping in it and disturb the video. But yeah, it as I said, it kind of baffled me about. Hello, mate. Hello, mate. You may wonder. It really did confuse me about why people are so eager to make her out to be the worst one of the two. If she did have a hand in her husband's disappearance, however way that was, yes, it does make her just as bad as Joe, because paying someone to kill someone is just as bad as committing the act yourself, because it's what you intend to do. But people are giving Joe a free pass. At least that's how it looks to me. And people are entitled to their opinions, like I am, like you are. But at the same time, we are, with free speech and everything, we can state our opinions, but we're also free to challenge opinions. So I invite you to challenge me. I'm willing to change my mind if I am in any way wrong. And another thing is, I notice is, because Carole has actually come out and said it portrays her in a very bad way and everything, is it's so amazing to see exactly how the media can persuade and change our perceptions of people simply based on editing, and also things like background information, spin doctoring, using lots of PR tricks, I suppose, of the trade. And I've seen people even on my own Facebook saying, "Oh, fuck Carole Baskin. Oh yeah, if any, la 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 la." They use that as a catchphrase now. And there was a meme I saw, which was a cartoon of a bloke sitting on a sofa with a remote control, said, "This is me when I start watching Tiger King," saying, "I don't get it." And then a week later, he's dressed as Joe, going, "Carole fucking Baskin," and people are going, "Oh yeah, that's what it's really like." What? Seriously? And people are jumping at Carole as well because she doesn't know who volunteers for her, and that she's got volunteers, not employees. Well, excuse me, people aren't forced to volunteer, They don't have to stay there. They can go and work full time for more money. And there are people, or for money, but there are people who will willingly volunteer. And if people are willingly wishing to volunteer without pay, we can't. They shouldn't stop them doing that. And it's a non-profit, it's a charity. And for me, if I had enough money to live on, I would volunteer and do something like that too. And even if I were to get a salary from it, I'd feel guilty taking money away from a sanctuary for animals when the money's not going back in to what they do. So I would actually say to people, just because you've seen it on a Netflix documentary doesn't mean it's exactly how it is. Research it, check your sources, compare sources, find out things for yourself, take away how it looks, take away the facade, and look at what's behind it, look at the truth. The truth is, Joe's been convicted, Carole hasn't. That doesn't necessarily mean that one, neither, or did it, but people are not taking that into consideration. And there are people. I read somewhere that Donald Trump was looking to pardon him, or that may have been fake news, to use Donald Trump's language. But it just baffles me, really does. But hey, challenge me if you will. I don't mind. The scientist in me is quite happy to change my view, and my view doesn't matter. The facts stand for themselves. The fact is that one's been convicted and one hasn't. It doesn't necessarily, because what you can be acquitted on something purely because of lack of evidence, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you didn't do it. That's why you have guilty and not guilty. You don't have guilty and innocent. So yeah, let me know what you think about it. But yeah, I'm not going to jump on the whole fuck Carole Baskin wagon, but to be honest, I'm not even going to jump on the fuck Joe Exotic wagon either. The things that he's done are very, very reprehensible. And also the chimpanzees that everybody noticed at the end, he'd deprived them of liberty or social interaction and being able to live in bigger cages with more things to do with their lives, with that kind of, because they're social creatures like us, they're the closest relatives we have, and he regrets it. Fair enough. And people do change, people do have a change of heart, people can change their lives around. Yes, there was a question about whether Carole did breed big cats before, but it's likely that she had a change of heart because she doesn't breed hers, she just looks after the ones that are already there. But then again, I'm not making excuses for her either. I would say out of the two, she's definitely the lesser of the two, but I just don't understand why people hate her more than, well, I don't know. But anyway, you get my point. So, again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.